Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and the place to be, it's Debsy. Bloop, that's me. Boop, Debsy. Hey guys, and happy Saturday. I hope everybody is having a great start to the weekend and a great day so far. And you did not get a video from me last night because, listen, in case you don't know, I love the Olympics. Like, I am the girl that just counts down to the Olympics. I love it. I'm not even a person that just like watches one sport or a couple sports. I can get into absolutely any sport, just about any sport. I'm sorry for those of you who love golf. I just can't get into it. Sorry, but just about any sport, even if I've never watched it. If it's the Olympics, I can get into it. So last night, and Dolly is the same way. Last night, me and Dolly watched we had our snacks and we watched the opening ceremonies in Paris. So, well, we weren't in Paris, we were here. So I'm gonna talk about the opening ceremony, but also last night, it was kind of like spur of the moment. I ordered some stuff some decorations from Amazon and some utensils and some stuff for the table, for a tablescape. And so I'm gonna share that a little bit later on at the end of the video. It's nothing that's like perfection, but Dolly, my mom, she loved it. And she thought I think it was creative, and we had a lot of fun with it. So I'm going to talk about the opening ceremonies and tell you what I liked and what I didn't like. I don't know if I'm going to go with good news first or bad news. So I'm going to go with the good news first. What I loved. Here's what I liked. I liked the beginning, which was that bridge. Listen, I love that. I loved the French colors on the bridge. I thought that was cool. Downside of that though, they did spend all that money and all that time cleaning up the Seine to make it, bearable to swim in, clean enough to swim in. All that stuff is going to come down. So while it was cool, I guess, it's going to have to come down onto something, and it's probably going to be the water. And let's even go back before the beginning, because before the beginning was absolutely one of my favorite things to happen. I said this to my mom last night. Never back in the day when Snoop Dogg, when it was like East Coast, West Coast rivalry and rap, and things were intense. Never in my life ever would I have thought two things. That number one, Snoop Dogg would be best friends with Martha Stewart. Okay? And number two, I never would have thought Snoop Dogg would be carrying the torch in Paris for the Paris Olympics in 2024. Two things I never would have thought happened. And I wouldn't have thought that he would be commentating on the Olympics. But like a few years back, for a couple of the Olympics, he was on Peacock with Kevin Hart, and they would recap the day's events in the Olympics. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I loved watching that. Another person I love to watch do that is Leslie Jones, comedian Leslie Jones. So I hope in the future they can get her too. But he is going to be Snoop Dogg is going to be doing some of the commentating along with Mike Tirico, which I love Mike Tirico as a commentator for the Olympics. He's my favorite. I'd be my favorite for like as a whole, like when we get into specifics, I'm going to say that I love Johnny Weir and Tara Lipinski as, for their sport, for figure skating. But as a whole, in general, my favorite is Mike Tirico. But Snoop Dogg running and dancing and walking through the streets of Paris with the torch in his gold shoes. I love it. That And Snoop Dogg at the Olympics is up near the very top of this list. I love it. I am here for it all day. What else did I like? I liked the beginning. I liked the end. We'll get into the middle a little bit later on. At the ending, I liked the fact, like I first was a little confused when the French soccer star, had handed off to Rafael Nadal, who's Spanish. But then they had said that this is going to be he's going to be retiring from the sport. I believe they said he won not the Grand Prix, but he won the big deal, like 14 times. And this is going to be his last Olympics, and he's going to be retiring. So I completely understand that. And then I thought about it, and I thought, well, this is good though, because the Olympics is bringing all nations together and unifying them. That's what we need more of. We need more unity and togetherness rather than division. So I like that. And then he goes down, gets in a boat, and in the boat, and this was one of my favorites as well, is 3 absolute Olympic legends, 2 from America, 1 from Romania. And that was Serena Williams, Carl Lewis, and Nadia Comaneci. Now, Nadia Comaneci, if you didn't know, she was the first, I don't know if she's the only female gymnast to do this, but she was the first female gymnast to score a perfect 10 at the Olympics. So when I saw Nadia Comaneci, I was like, because I'm an old head, so who has watched gymnastics for a long time, as well as like figure skating. But when I saw Nadia Comaneci, I was like, wow. And they bring Carl Lewis out. I thought that was awesome. I didn't realize this until I saw TikTok today, but I feel bad because it looked like maybe Serena Williams was getting a little motion sickness, like a little boat sickness. I feel bad for that. And also somebody pointed out that Nadal maybe didn't think his pants out that well, because when they got wet from the boat, they were see-through. So I might have to go pay more attention to that. That's why that was on the top of my list, near the top of my list. Right alongside there, the boat. Well, not alongside the boat, but another thing that I liked that happened in the water was when that masked somebody was saying it was the assassin from Assassin's Creed. I guess that's a video game. Anyways, when they got on that horse, that mechanical horse, and was riding it through the Seine, I thought that was cool too. I thought that was very cool. So then they get out of the boat, and they then hand off to a bunch of different French Olympic athletes. One of them being Tony Parker, who is French, but he played for the San Antonio Spurs. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame, and they handed it off. But what they did, instead of like the person handing it off, this person handing it off to this person, and then this person just staying here, they all got together and walked in a group, once again signifying unity. I love that. And it was from all different sports. I absolutely love that message. But then the one that got me the most was when they handed it off to the older gentleman in the wheelchair. Like, I didn't know who it was, but I just immediately kind of teared up a little bit. And we find out that is the oldest living French Olympic athlete. He's 100 years old. His name is Charles Coste, C-O-S-T-E. He's 100 years old. He just turned 100 in February, I believe it read. And he won gold. He won gold at the London Olympics in 1948. He's a cyclist, and he won his gold in the team pursuit. I absolutely, that touched my heart so much that it's not just the young that they were celebrating. It was people of all ages, and they even had a few Paralympic athletes in there, which I loved seeing because I absolutely love watching the Paralympics. I had started watching it several years ago, and the thing that bothers me about the Olympics is they give a lot of run up and heads up and a lot of fanfare to the Olympics, but then the Paralympics doesn't get the same. And I'm telling you, if you want to watch something that is going to kick your butt into getting up and getting stuff done and inspire you and just give you all of the feels, like all the good feels, please watch the Paralympics, because they're not going to put it on prime time on NBC. You got to search for it. But the Paralympics is something I would absolutely tell anybody and everybody to watch, because it's absolutely amazing what those athletes can do. Amazing. So the other thing that I thought was unique and I really enjoyed was the cauldron. They lit the cauldron and it lifted off. It was a hot air. It was in the shape of a hot air balloon. And that's because the hot air balloon was born in France, and the first liftoff was at the same gardens where this liftoff was, which I thought was just amazing. Before we get to the last part and probably my favorite part of the whole ceremony, I do have to mention there's one thing in the middle of it that I did enjoy. I thought it was interesting. I didn't think that I would like it that much, but I liked how they combined. I thought it was interesting how they combined opera and that heavy, I don't know if it's considered heavy death metal or what, but I kind of enjoyed that whole thing when they were playing outside the castle. I thought it was a little odd that they had all of the headless Marie Antoinettes. And I thought that was a little strange, but it's the French. That's what I'm saying. It's the French. So my absolute favorite thing. Oh, and I do have to say, I always enjoy the Parade of Nations because number one, I love seeing the outfits, and I really do enjoy hearing the different stories about each nation. That's what I wish they had more of this time. Like, I feel like they didn't really focus enough on that. I would have liked to have seen more than that. But let me get into this, and this is my number one favorite thing. I never, ever, ever, ever would have thought that I would be saying this, because I'm not typically a fan of this woman, but I will tell you, the ending was absolutely, I don't even want to say that perfection. I'm going to say perfection isn't even a strong enough of a word to just say how I felt about this finale of the whole thing, of the whole opening ceremony. And that was, they light the cauldron, it lifts off, and then they go over to Celine Dion alongside a piano on the Eiffel Tower in like a beautifully beaded dress, singing in French. And She sounded amazing. It was magical. The only thing that I feel does it justice, it was magical. Like I can say in the past, I have not been a fan of Celine Dion's, but it was absolutely amazing. And the thing that just made me tear up and is making me tear up so much right now is because when you've heard, I have not watched the documentary, but you've heard about her struggle with the neurological disease, stiff person syndrome, and how it affects her vocal cords and the work that she had to have put in to get to that. Oh, it gave me chills. I watched it again with my mom this morning because she had gone to bed a little earlier. So she didn't see the whole thing, but she taped it. And I said, I can't watch this. I'm going to cry. I went into the other room. I heard it and I was still crying. Kelly Clarkson, who was doing commentary along with Mike Tirico and Peyton Manning, who I love, was even like, I have no words. It was just, it was magical. Perfection magical. That was absolutely my number one favorite thing of the whole ceremony. Like, hands down. Loved it. If you haven't watched it, the Celine Dion performance, please do yourself a favor and watch it. I mean, it's on Peacock. You can undoubtedly find it on TikTok or YouTube. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And it actually has turned me from someone who isn't a fan of hers to someone who is going to maybe give her a listen. I'm just saying. It was phenomenal. It was absolutely, go out there and watch it, please. It's just magical. Okay, now I am also going to give some like honorable mentions. These are things also, it wasn't about like, these are not included in the ceremony, but these are things that I also love quite a bit, that I enjoyed. Okay, I just heard this yesterday, but Flavor Flav from Public Enemy, he surprised us this year by coming out and saying he's a Swiftie and he's a dedicated diehard Swiftie. But I had heard yesterday that Flavor Flav is fully sponsoring the U.S. women's polo team because he had said that, these women, they have to go out and work 2 and 3 jobs to try to pay their way to the games. And so he wants to help out. I love that. So he's sponsoring them. I absolutely love that. Another thing I didn't know that the U.S. women's polo team, the U.S. women's water polo team, is the 3-time defending champion in water polo. They have won it 3 times. They're in Paris trying for their 4th. That's amazing. And to me, I don't think it's right that more people don't know that, because listen, I'm all for talking about everybody's accomplishments, and hey, I'm a person who's most definitely gonna clap for the people who are more well known, like Simone Biles and Katie Ledecky, because they deserve it. I couldn't do any of that. So they deserve all of the praise. However, then there's people who don't get as many flowers, and I think they should. I mean, that's like everybody knows what, when to watch Simone Biles and how many gold medals she has, or Katie Ledecky or Caleb Dressel, or, the LeBron James, or the big people they know. But I would like for more people for the media to put, maybe some emphasis on the lesser knowns. That's all I'm saying. I would like that. And also, another one that I enjoy seeing was Steph Curry. Steph Curry, as you know, professional basketball player playing on the U.S. men's basketball team. I have seen different clips of him in Paris. He seems to really be embracing all of it. He's out there meeting. He was on the boat yesterday, meeting and talking to like people from different athletes from different sports. And I guess they all get like pins, maybe of the different sports. He is out there trading pins to try and get different sports. It's like so wholesome. And I really do. I enjoy just seeing him taking it all in. Steph Curry, I do. I enjoy that. And let me also give a shout out to, listen, Ralph Lauren, those official outfits, the blazers, at first when I heard it was going to be blazers and jeans, I was like, well, how great could that be? Listen, if I wasn't a fat ass and I could wear something other than a plus size, I would buy one of those blazers. I think it is such a sharp look. And then you had the white blazers for LeBron James and Coco Gauff, which congratulations, Coco Gauff. I believe she is the first tennis player to walk with the flag in opening ceremonies. But I absolutely love it. I absolutely love their opening outfits. Love it. Okay, let's get to some things I didn't love. The middle of it. I'm a person who, like I said, I enjoy the Parade of Nations because I like seeing what they're wearing. I like hearing about the athletes. I like hearing interesting facts. So the middle to me was disjointed. It was random. It was just a bunch of randomness. Now listen, please don't come at me in the comments saying, well, you're offended. I wasn't offended. Listen, I'm going to say I'm not offended at all. Not at all. And I know that the French are like over the top and very different from Europeans are different from Americans. I know that, but it was just too much of like here, look here, look here. And I don't know that any of it felt like it fit together. It just seemed random. Like, here's the thing. I enjoyed those people that were up on the sticks that were like, ooh, because I was like, how are these people holding on? That I thought was very cool. But then, and once again, please don't take this as I'm being Puritan, like I'm being this Puritan American. When I say this, and I wasn't offended by it, but I get that Paris has the menage a trois. However, that was random. Like, see what I mean? Like, it was just like, okay. I mean, the spirit of the Olympics is unity but I don't know. I don't know about that. It was odd. It was just odd. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Because listen, I know how and they toned it down quite a bit for like America, because when I was in high school, I went to France, and they could have very well, if it wasn't being shown in America, they would have been tits out, because when I went to France, they had billboards and they're tits out. They're like, I remember being on the metro and there was an advertisement sitting over here of like a fully naked family, like a mom, dad, kids, just naked. I don't even know what it was about because I couldn't read what it was about. But I mean, they toned it down. They did tone it down for America. And like I said, I wasn't offended by the threesome, but I was just like, that's odd. It's just random. It's random. The second part of this video is brought to you by the word random. The other thing, I don't know, some of it looked high budget, but then there's other parts of it that looked so low budget. Like the can dancers on the side of the river. I understand why they were not. A lot of people are like, well, they're not together. It doesn't look like they practiced. They, from what I understand, are actually on strike. So that's probably why they weren't putting forth their best. Also, I think they said that they're from the Moulin Rouge. Okay, the Moulin Rouge, they dance topless. I mean, so here's these women standing on the side of the river. People were asking them to kick and do the split, like the jump split. The Rockettes would have given us better, but I get it. They're on. It was just random though. You got some can dancers on the side of the river doing some jump splits and some kicks. Now this next part, this does not give me any joy to say this, not at all, because I love this lady. And don't come for me, because I love everything she does, with the exception of this. I wasn't that big a fan of the Lady Gaga performance. I hated the song. Like, I just did not, it wasn't her singing that I hated. It was that other stuff that kind of reminded me of the Muppet song. It goes, mana mana doo 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 doo. That stuff, I was not a fan of that. I just wasn't. And in the middle of it, I had said to my mom, I was like, wonder why they picked Lady Gaga. I mean, I love Lady Gaga, but I wonder why they picked her, because she's not French. She's singing in French. But then, from what I understand, I think they picked her because she loves France, and I don't know. I could have done without it. I'm just saying. And I love her, and I don't feel like that song, she has such a great voice. I don't think that song did her any justice. I just don't. I just didn't like it. It looked low budget. And that's typically not Gaga. Like, typically when you see Gaga, you see like something that, even if it isn't high budget, like a massive budget, that it looks more put together. I don't know. It could have been because of the rain. The other thing that I understand why it was there, but was the fashion show. I mean, I get it in Paris. Paris is like one of the, centers of fashion, of high fashion and couture. I get that, but there's like a fashion show here, and then you're going down to the athletes, and they're going over here, and then there's a fashion show. Now, the part that I did not see that everybody is very upset about is the parody of The Last Supper with the drag queens, and then apparently like a Smurf, like a big blue guy popped up in it. I'm not offended by it, because that's what the French do. Like, that's something that the French do. Once again, it's the randomness of it all. There was a lot of random, I don't know. Was it one of my favorite opening ceremonies? It wasn't. It just wasn't. Because while I enjoyed the beginning and I loved the end, like once they handed off, once that masked guy, who I wish they would have unmasked that person, been like, this is who it is. Because people were like, is it Taylor Swift? Is it Joe Biden? Who is it? It's like, I wish they would have like taken the mask off. But anyways, from when the French footballer handed it off to Nadal, from then on, I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved it. And with the horse on the water, I loved all of that. From the horse, listen, the horse in the water, and then he gets out and he walks up. All of that from then on, I loved. The middle was disjointed and random. It was brought to you by the word random. So once again, I'm not saying that I was offended by any of it. I just thought it was random, you know? So listen, that's what I thought of it. Do you like my t-shirt? I got it years ago. I didn't get it for, I got it for the Tokyo Olympics, I think, for me and Mom. So at the end, I'm going to show you my tablescape. Here are some of my decorations right there. So listen, tell me in the comments if you're watching the Olympics. If you are, what are you watching? And with that being said, I love you guys. If nobody told you yet today, I love you. You are loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world. Take care of one another. Number one, please be aware of your surroundings. Number two, please stay safe. Number three, if you're somewhere where it's really hot, don't go outside. Enjoy the great indoors with air conditioning. But if you have to or you want to, please stay safe, hydrate often with water. And I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Okay guys, so here it is, my tablescape for the Olympics. We have the Olympic rings with cupcakes. Those are Fruit Loops. And, okay, let's pull out. Okay, over here are those are the Olympic torches. You can eat them. There are our gold medals. And here's everything else. Oh, look at that. Go Team USA!